welcome to episode 4 of Thabo and Gugu Talk Life and Business.
I'm Thabo.
And I'm Gugu.
So today what are we talking about?
Today we're going to be talking about navigating parenthood and property.
Oh, nice topic. So what does that mean? Navigating parenthood and property. So this is like us as a couple in business. So we've got a property business and we are parents as well. So we've got two toddlers, 2-year-old and the 3-year-old. So So to you, what does that navigating parenthood and being in business mean to you?
It's both interesting journeys together, to be fair, and as we're boyfriend and girlfriend, we've always wanted to have kids at some point in our life. So now, I don't think at the time we thought it through how to do like the business side of things and parenthood, but we just sort of thrown into it. So yeah, it's been quite an interesting journey for me.
Okay, interesting. So tell us more about it from your perspective. What does it mean to you? What is the journey being like for you? Like from us buying our first property, so obviously when we bought our first property, we didn't have kids then. Then to us, like when we bought, I think property number 3 or 4, that's when we had Nia. So what is that transaction like for you? Because obviously when we bought the first 3 properties, we were still both working full-time jobs,
Yeah, so with that, it was a shock in the system.
Okay.
First of all, we're now responsible for another human being. So,
yes.
And there's no manual or anything. You just, once you're in the situation, you just have to get on with it. So it was a blessing to have our first child, Nia, at the time. So there's been some challenges that's come with it in terms of, obviously, the child needs your attention, then the business needs your attention as well. So it's just been trying to find a balance to okay, fine, this is Nia's time, this is business time. So yeah.
So in your business, how do you divide that time? Like to say this is coming, because if you've got a kid and you're responsible for another human being, as you've said, they can cry anytime. Probably they're crying and maybe there's a business need which needs attention. So how are you working across that? Were you doing business when Nia is napping, or how were you doing that? Because the reason why I'm digging into deep with this is like there are so many parents in this situation, like especially mothers, because mothers, you've got more attention with the kids. You spend
do the most.
More time with the kids, So how do you balance that? Because running a business and also having a child and running a business, those are 2 different skills. And
yeah, they are. So with that, it's just with the child, there's no perfect time or perfect balance. You just need to. They sort of lead the program of the day. Mm-hmm. So obviously when they wake up, you feed them, bath them, clothe them, everything, play with them if they need to. Then when they're napping, I know as a new parent, they say, or nap when a child is napping, but in reality, it doesn't always work out that way, unfortunately or fortunately. So it's, unless I'm really tired, then I do nap when the kid is napping. However, when in a situation where you're having a business, it's like, as long as you're capable to do so, you've had sufficient amount of sleep. When the child naps, that's the perfect opportunity to catch up with everything in the business. Just sit down, get your head down. If you need to make phone calls, do your phone calls then. That's sort of how I've gone about it. I don't know how about your end from a men's perspective.
No, I think from my end, from a man's perspective, is because I was helping out whenever you needed help. But obviously, like I was saying, it was more on your side, because if a child wants the milk and, but in terms of like creating that, like I would help out as well. So for me, it was coming in and just knowing I'm there when I'm required to be there, Yes. But like for you, it was more like you are actually running the schedule. So I think also when we had Nia, I I was more heavily focused on the business side, and you're heavily focused on the home side. But there were some things which you do in the business which I can't do, and that's like your strongest skill set, you know. So that's what you're doing, you know. So I think that's how we balanced it.
Yeah, and I guess with that as well, it's like there's no perfect schedule. So one of the other challenges I think would face both of us was having to work late nights as well. So again, when the baby's sleeping at night, you try and catch up on some work so stuff doesn't end up piling up. But late nights do end up catching up with you at some point. So it's just trying to say, okay, fine, enough is enough. I'm going to take a break from the business. And obviously when the baby's sleeping as well, I'm going to try and take a break then. So, but yeah, I think the late nights were one of the other biggest challenges that we faced to try and catch up with everything else that we needed to outside of the parenthood side.
Yeah, and also during that time, we did have asked for help in terms of like outsourcing some of the work which we couldn't do, you know. So like we did outsource a lot of housework. So
yeah, like ironing. Oh my gosh, those kids' little clothes, they're like just never ending. How many times does a kid change in a day? So yeah, well, personally, I was struggling to keep up with that side of things. So we had to sacrifice to get that outsourced. And at the end of the day, it becomes a win-win situation.
Now, how is that a win-win situation?
Well, I'm getting the help with the ironing, and the person who's helping me needs the money. So that's how it's a win-win situation.
Okay. So you're creating employment.
Yes, I can say that.
Okay. No, that's fine. So in terms on your side, what are your biggest challenges of navigating the parenthood and also like navigating a business? So what are your biggest challenges?
I think I've said those already. Like, there's no balance, isn't it? It's just working as and when I can. And obviously, the main priority was more the kid. So if the kid is crying, I need to drop everything else that I'm doing and attend to them. So there's no like, oh, I'm going to just do my 9 to 5 and then that's it, go back home and catch up with things. It's like I'm just working around the kid's schedule and provide. Sometimes the kid cries, you don't know what they're crying. So you have to try loads of different things, and whether it's feeding them if they don't want food, check their temperature. And so with that, it's like, you don't learn these things before. It's just take each day as it comes. But that's the other thing where I had to sort of not beat myself too much about it, where I was just like, I'm just going to take each day as it comes. And yeah.
Okay. No, yeah, understood.
Yeah. And then in terms of what are our strategies for balance from your end, and how did we end up finding ways to balance this lifestyle that we have?
In terms of strategies for balance, I would say just putting things on the calendar and just having a structure to say everything is timed, So right now we've got 2 kids and they go to a nursery, so that kind of balance as well, to say, okay, during the day we know the kids are in nursery, so that's when we can do most of the business work and like work, etc. So like utilizing that time which you've got, I think like being more efficient in that short period of time which you've got, because when they come back from school, nursery, whatever, it's like it's a different routine. Now they're back in the house.
But I think in terms of the strategy for balance, I think it's more so before they went to nursery. Do you remember how we navigated that?
I don't remember.
So I think, if I remember well, it was just more so like, especially at the weekend, we split our time together because we both have got different workloads to do. So it's just maybe in the morning on a Saturday, you get your time to do your work. I'm with the kids. And then after maybe like 4 or 5 hours, before I cook dinner, then it's my turn to do the work. So that I think that was one of the main strategies that we had to sort of keep ourselves sane, but also trying to keep everything on top of everything else. But at the same time, equally spending time together with the kids.
Oh, okay. So according to you, do you think there is something called a work-life balance?
it won't be 100% work-life balance, but you can create something to suit the family situation where you don't get worn out between yourselves. So again, given that example of splitting time at the weekends, I felt like that sort of made things a bit better. I don't know. How about you?
To be honest, I think I like working, so like the more time I get, which is allocated for me to work, like I usually utilize that time. But obviously, there is also like splitting that time actually allocates you to have time with the kids as well.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if we didn't split that time, I'll end up working all day
You'll be working forever,
working all the time, you know. So actually, that's a good balance, because like the kids know, okay, dad is working, mom is working, and after that, then it's like us time together, like all four of us as a family, to say, okay, this is us time. Whatever we do, whether we're doing an activities or we going out, etc., they know, okay, there is time for what? For everything.
So communication wise, so in terms of communication in this navigating parenthood property side of things, I think what's also helped us in terms of having a structure was having a weekly tracker. So because we've got obviously things outside property, like the family side of things and property. So for you to be able to keep on top of things, I think the weekly tracker has sort of helped us to try and stop take note of everything that we need to do and sort of tick the box. But obviously not every week is the same. So we have to, if you don't meet maybe one or two things in the prior week, it's just having a discussion like, oh, how can you do better to meet it in the following week? Have you found that helpful yourself?
Yeah, I mean, the weekly tracker is very helpful. So what Google means by the weekly tracker is, so each beginning of the week on a Sunday, we've got like a family meeting, so-called. So we just sit down and say, okay, what are our targets for this coming week? What do I want to achieve? So this covers like the family side, the business side, health side, whether we're going to go gym and like exercise, our diet as well. So we've actually started putting that into like our weekly tracker. So we actually track what are we putting, because I mean, food is very important because it's like the fuel for the week.
Yeah.
So I mean, the weekly tracker is helpful. It's actually like a good tip for other people or other parents out there who are just struggling. It doesn't have to be an exhaustive list. It's just like a framework to say, look, this week we're going to do A, B, C. And we don't say we're going to try, we're going to do. Because if you say, I will try to do this, it means there's a possibility or there is an actual option for failure. So what we usually say is, this week we're going to do A, B, C, D, and we stick to that. Yes, like we've said, there are challenges, because on a Wednesday you can wake up and your little ones are ill and not feeling well, and so everything, the whole plan you had is thrown off the road. So you just have to prioritize that and just work with that. In business, you can, like, because Airbnb business is like you've got guests in and out. There can be a challenge with the guests. So it's like, but also having the framework to say, you know what, this week these are my targets. That's been really helpful. It's
been helpful. It gives you a bit of a structure as well. So you just know, this week this is my priority, so this is what I'm going to focus on, and you get things done better that way. And I think it produces some good results.
No, for sure.
Yeah, and go on. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, by the way, before we continue further, so these actual podcast series are of me and Gugu. They are actually sponsored by our two companies. So the one of them being a 10-day Airbnb crash course, which you hold. So this is a 10-day Airbnb program to help new starters, people who want to start, and it's online. Everything is 100% online. So the description for this is the link to join is in the description, and it's also sponsored by
Love Your Stays Limited. So that's our Airbnb business, and obviously we accommodate guests and in like 4 different cities in the UK. And not only that, we're also open to partnerships and joint ventures, so to say. So yeah, feel free to give us a shout
if you're interested in that. But yeah, so let's carry on the conversation.
Yeah, so I think lastly, but most importantly, we can't do this alone. this navigating this journey that we're in?
Oh yeah, no, definitely not. So I mean, so we've actually family support is very important. So family support and actually like working with people to come help us. So we've got people who come help us in the household. We've got a cleaner. We've got a lady who comes to help out with the ironing.
The ironing,
you know.
yes.
So and all those are like win-win situations, as you mentioned them. You know, because otherwise, like doing this, you know, it's like prioritizing the family, the business, and the household work.
Yeah,
you know,
it won't be possible with just us two. So yeah, you know what they say. It takes a village to raise a child. So with all these different support systems, we really appreciate it, and wouldn't be where we are without them, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, so in terms of what tips would you give to people like who are watching this and are on the journey? Probably they've got a family as well, but they want to get into business, because for us, the main reason we're speaking about this is because we're in property business, and we also live in the parenthood, you know, so it's like, what tips would you actually give to those kind of people who are in business, and maybe they want to get into business, start a business, but they were like, oh, my family life, how will I do ABC?
Having a discussion as husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend, whichever partnership you are in, and just see what's more important to you two in terms of business. What do you want to focus on? Are you like on the same page about it? And then secondly, it's just having things written down, like what's important, and again, creating a structure, a to-do list, like, okay, fine, how are we going to do this? Whereas if you've got something written down, I think it makes it a bit more easier to focus on. And then, you just take it from there.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I can't give any more tips. Well, what you've said is enough, like having a structure, and that weekly tracker is very powerful.
It makes a big difference,
it could be
doesn't
like
it? Yeah.
3 things, like to say, okay, this week our target is to go gym 2 or 3 times, you know, and actually write down the times you're gonna go gym. And if you've got a calendar, other people use a calendar system. You can time block in the calendar system, time block your activities, you know, like I think that's really worked out well, because there's no guesswork, you know, okay, I'm the one, you're the one who's dropping off the kids at nursery. I know I'm the one who's picking them up. So it's like there's no, you work around
you
those
work
things
around it, but it doesn't.
schedule.
So to be fair, and that saying that is just like, you don't have to stick to it. It's okay if it doesn't happen, even if you don't want to, but you can always navigate. Like if you're set to go to gym maybe in the morning and for some reason you can't go, you can always go same day but a later time. You can like juggle things around, but the tracker is just more of a guideline.
I mean, I feel like if you start doing that, you're just actually giving yourself more room to fail. So, because I'm like, if you plan to go gym at 10, when 10 comes, you'll be like, I'm tired. You start procrastinating, you start putting excuses. So rather you just no excuses head on. I'll say, don't stick to it unless there's an emergency, because you want to stick to your time.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. I wasn't saying because you're tired, but like there are some serious things, or if a child is throwing up, you know, like things like that.
Yeah,
that's what I wasn't meaning like if you're tired, don't go. But I'm like, things do happen where you can't avoid, and it's not a crime to just say, oh, because this has happened, I'm still going to go to the gym. You can always, that's something you can always still do it on the same day, just on a different time.
No, fair enough. Now, if you put it that way, it makes sense, because, I mean, if you start making excuses, you know. Yeah. Okay, so...
yeah, I think that's it. I don't know if you've got anything else to add.
No, I think we've covered a lot of points in this podcast, and hope you enjoyed it. And if you can like, comment, share it to someone who think will gain value from this. And I will be doing every week new series talking about being parents in business. Specific business is the property business which we run. So thank you so much for listening. And if you've got this far, thank you.
Thank you. And like we've said before, if you'd like us to talk about anything specific, feel free to comment down below and we could look to incorporating it.